What if I told you that turning 70 or even 80 doesn't mean fading into the background? What if these years could actually become your strongest, healthiest, and most meaningful chapter yet? You see, aging isn't just about getting older. It's about growing wiser, becoming more intentional, and building the kind of daily life that gives you energy, not exhaustion. In today's video, you'll discover 5 golden habits for healthy aging that are simple, powerful, and proven to work. These aren't extreme routines. They're gentle, life-affirming practices that help you stay mentally sharp, physically strong, and emotionally grounded without giving up the joys of everyday living. And the 5th habit. It's so quietly transformative that even doctors have begun recommending it more often to their older patients. Stay with me, because this one habit alone may redefine your aging journey in ways you never expected. If you value your independence, your peace of mind, and your ability to enjoy life after 60, you're in the right place. So grab your tea, get cozy, and let's begin. If this message speaks to you, like the video, subscribe, and comment 0 to let me know you're here and ready to thrive. Let's walk into this next chapter together. Habit 1. Pay attention to your diet. As we grow older, our bodies no longer whisper, they speak plainly. The choices we make about food are no longer casual. They're intimate, powerful, and deeply personal. Eating after 60 isn't about restriction, it's about returning to what is real. It's about feeding our bodies with food that remembers where it came from, not packaged, not processed, but whole, living nourishment that honors life. You don't need to follow a complicated diet plan or weigh every spoonful. You just need to listen to your body and choose what helps it heal. A bowl of warm oatmeal topped with blueberries, a handful of walnuts beside a cup of green tea, a soft piece of salmon drizzled with lemon and paired with steamed spinach. These aren't sacrifices, they're gifts, because what you feed yourself after 60 isn't about staying slim. It's about staying strong. It's about helping your heart beat more easily, about keeping your brain clear, about waking up without that foggy tiredness that makes mornings feel heavy. What many don't realize is that inflammation hides in the food we trust most. Processed snacks, sugary drinks, white bread that crumbles like paper. These things don't just raise blood sugar. They quietly drain the vitality from your bones, your joints, and your mood. One soda here, one microwaved meal there, and suddenly your energy isn't yours anymore. You feel tired after lunch, restless at night, bloated without understanding why. And often the blame falls on age. But it's not always age. It's often what we keep putting on our plate. Sometimes healing begins not with medicine, but with a grocery list. Martha, 74, knows this truth intimately. She spent 10 years on 3 medications for type 2 diabetes. Her hands trembled every morning. Her sleep was scattered. Her meals, often frozen, always rushed. One day, her daughter visited. With a quiet suggestion and a bag full of fresh food, salmon, steel-cut oats, spinach, chia seeds, olive oil, they didn't talk about dieting. They talked about nourishment. And little by little, Martha began to cook again. Simple things: boiled greens with garlic, warm chia porridge with cinnamon, baked sweet potatoes with grilled fish. It wasn't a miracle, but it was consistent. Her blood sugar dropped. Her medications were cut in half. And more than that, she felt proud. She told her doctor, "I'm not dieting. I'm caring for myself, finally, with love." Food is more than fuel. It is your quiet medicine, your private defense against what time may try to take. A leafy salad isn't just lunch. It's your way of telling your heart, "I'm not giving up on you." A glass of water first thing in the morning isn't just hydration. It's a ritual of presence. It's reminding your body that you're still here, still choosing, still alive. If you're still listening, maybe this speaks to a part of you that's ready to return to simplicity, ready to trade confusion for clarity, not through strict rules, but through mindful attention. Perhaps this is your moment to reflect, and if it feels right, drop a word in the comments. A small affirmation like, "I choose strength," or even just the number 1, to say quietly, "I'm here and I'm ready." Eating well after 60 isn't about perfection. It's not about punishing yourself for the past. It's about starting where you are. It's about eating to feel awake, eating to move with less pain, eating to enjoy the days that still lie ahead. Every forkful is a small decision, and every small decision can lead to a bigger transformation. One that doesn't scream, one that doesn't demand, one that unfolds like a sunrise, gentle, healing, steady. Let food be part of your peace. Let it be part of your wisdom. And let it remind you, you still deserve to feel well. Habit 2. Take regular walks. There is something sacred about walking, something older than time. It's not just exercise, it's a gentle return to yourself. With each step, you remind your body that it still knows the rhythm of life. You remind yourself to slow down. You remind your thoughts don't have to race. And you remind your heart it is still strong. Just 15 to 30 minutes each day. That's all it takes. A walk around the block, through a park, down a familiar sidewalk you once overlooked. And with every step, circulation improves. Muscles warm, your heart pumps with a steadier beat. And slowly your mind clears, like fog lifting from a quiet lake. Walking doesn't ask for much. You don't need perfect shoes, or a gym, or even a schedule. You only need to begin. Step outside, feel the morning air, let the light touch your skin, let your feet find their pace. Walking is more than motion. It's medicine. It lowers blood pressure, reduces the risk of heart disease, and helps your body process sugar more efficiently. But even more powerful than that, it frees you from the weight you carry inside, the stress, the overthinking, the loneliness. Walking releases endorphins, those quiet little sparks of joy your body creates when it feels safe again. And if you've ever returned from a walk feeling lighter, not just in your legs but in your chest, you've felt that miracle. You've felt how movement can cleanse emotion, how silence can soothe noise, how distance, even short, can restore clarity. If any part of you needs peace right now, maybe this is the sign to take that step. Some days the hardest part is putting on your shoes. But once you do, the world shifts. You notice the trees again, the birdsong. The sunlight breaks through the branches, the steady rhythm of your breath syncing with your steps. This isn't fitness, it's healing. And sometimes it's a connection too. There was a man named Frank, a retired bus driver in Ohio. After he left the job, he found the hours of his day stretched long and dull. He had no schedule, no reason to leave the house, and the silence began to grow heavy. But one morning, without thinking too much, he walked, just around the block. The next day he walked again, then again. After a week, he saw another man doing the same, then a woman. Eventually they introduced themselves, walked together, laughed a little, shared stories. Now they call themselves the Morning Miles, a small group that walks every morning. Rain or shine, Frank says, "At first I walked so I wouldn't go numb. Now I walk because it's the part of my day that reminds me I'm alive." And isn't that the truth? That walking, simple, steady, unpretentious, is not just about keeping your legs strong. It's about keeping your soul awake. It's a quiet protest against everything that tells us to sit down, to give up, to grow small with age. Instead, we rise, gently, purposefully, and we move. If this speaks to you, just pause and breathe. Ask yourself gently, when was the last time I gave my body a walk? Not to burn calories, but to say thank you. And if you feel called to share, write the number 2 in the comments. Let it be your affirmation, your quiet commitment, your way of saying, I still choose to move forward one step at a time. Because walking isn't just an action, it's an invitation to return to rhythm, to rediscover presence, to reclaim your space in the world, not as someone who is fading, but as someone who is still becoming. So let your feet carry you, not far, just far enough to remember who you are. Let the earth hold you, let the morning greet you, and let your body remind you, you are not done moving forward yet. Habit 3. Keep your social ties strong. Loneliness has a quiet voice. It doesn't shout. It settles slowly into the spaces of your life where laughter used to live. After 60, What disappears first isn't always strength. It's connection. And when that connection fades, the body begins to feel it. Studies may talk about the immune system, the brain, the heart, but the truth is more human than that. When we stop being seen, we start to disappear from ourselves. Staying socially connected isn't about being popular. It's not about having a full calendar. It's about knowing that someone, somewhere, still waits to hear your voice, that your presence still matters in someone's day, that you are still part of a rhythm larger than your own silence. The effects of disconnection are real. It weakens the immune system, increases inflammation, deepens the risk of heart disease and memory loss, but even more, it slowly dulls the spirit, and the longer it lasts, the harder it becomes to reach out. That's why the answer doesn't lie in big events or large gatherings. It begins with small gestures, a phone call, a walk with a neighbor, a weekly group, a moment of honest presence. Human connection isn't about quantity, it's about sincerity and consistency. Linda from Texas didn't expect to start over at 80. She had shared a quiet life with her husband for more than 5 decades. When he passed, the days began to stretch. The house, once filled with routine, felt like a museum. She stopped attending her church group, stopped going out, even stopped answering the phone. It wasn't sadness that kept her there, it was the weight of solitude. Then, her granddaughter gave her a small gift, a tablet and a few patient lessons on how to use it. At first, Linda resisted. Technology felt too far from her world, but eventually she clicked join on a watercolor class for seniors. On the screen were 6 others, smiling, painting, laughing softly as brushes met paper. Something inside Linda shifted. She kept coming back, joined a virtual book circle, started sharing quotes. A few months later, she looked up from her screen and said quietly, "I never thought I'd make new friends at 80, but I did, and I look forward to them every week." These aren't just activities, they are lifelines, and they are available to anyone, even from home. If mobility is a challenge, technology can be a bridge. If the heart feels hesitant, begin with listening. Connection isn't a performance, it's a return to belonging. And when we belong, we heal. The brain becomes sharper, the heart steadier, the nervous system calms down, and most of all, the sense of purpose slowly returns. Because as long as you are part of someone's circle, even in the smallest way, you are part of something still alive. So ask yourself, when was the last time you called someone just to say, "I was thinking about you"? When did you last join a group, not to talk but to simply sit among others and listen? These questions aren't meant to press you. They are here to open a small window, one that leads toward light. And if that idea feels true to you, feel free to share a quiet yes in the comments, or even just the number 3. Sometimes one small act of connection begins with one small moment of honesty. Staying socially connected is one of the most powerful things you can do for your well-being. Not because it fixes everything, but because it reminds you that you were never meant to go through life alone. And even now, even here, someone still values the sound of your story, the warmth of your presence, the kindness in your words. The world does not move forward only through the young and the loud. It also moves because of those who have learned how to sit in silence and still offer something steady and healing. Keep your ties close, call when it's hard, listen when words fail, and let your place in the world remain firm, not just for you but for the ones who still need your light. Habit 4. Do strength training. Strength in later life does not begin in the muscles. It begins in the quiet decision to no longer surrender. Not to gravity, not to fatigue, not to the voice that says you're too old for this now. Strength training isn't about lifting heavy weights. It's about lifting your own weight, physically, emotionally, and symbolically. It's about saying, I still want to carry my life with my own hands. And you can. You don't need machines. You don't need a gym. You need intention, a chair, a wall, a few careful breaths. That's more than enough. Because what we lose with age is not only strength but confidence, the ability to rise without worry, to carry a bag without strain, to stand tall without fear of falling. But your body remembers. And when you begin to train it again, slowly, gently, it responds. With balance, with steadiness. with a quiet kind of resilience that returns first in the legs, then in the spine, then in the way you walk into a room without hesitation. You can start by standing near the wall and raising your heels. You can try sitting and standing from a chair, slowly, 5 times. These movements, humble as they are, restore something far greater than muscle. They bring back a sense of independence, of presence, of trust in your body again. Bone health becomes fragile with time. That's nature. But what you do with that truth is a choice. Simple resistance movements can strengthen your hips, your back, your shoulders, not for aesthetics, but for action. To climb stairs with ease, to carry groceries without pain, to get out of the bathtub without help. Every small effort is an act of self-respect, of preservation, of preparation for the days when being able to move with grace means living with dignity. That's why we train, not to impress anyone, but to avoid becoming dependent too soon. The fear of falling is real and justified, but fear without action becomes limitation. Core strength and leg power can be rebuilt, one squat at a time. No need to rush, no need to compare. Only the quiet discipline of returning to your body and telling it, I still need you. Let's work together. If that message resonates with you right now, feel free to comment the number 4 below, or share how you've gently begun moving again. Sometimes that small action gives another person the courage to begin too. There's also something healing in the repetition, in the routine. Movement calms the nervous system. It helps sleep come more easily. It brings oxygen to the brain and keeps the joints lubricated. It doesn't ask for youth, it asks for consistency, and even on days when energy is low, movement in stillness is still possible. You can stretch your arms slowly above your head, roll your shoulders gently, circle your ankles. Movement is medicine, no matter how small, and choosing to move each day is choosing not to disappear from your own life. No one told us that aging would require such a conscious effort to stay rooted in our own bodies. But now that we know, we can do something about it. We can keep moving. We can get stronger, not louder, not faster, but steadier. And that steadiness can carry us forward with less pain, less fear, more freedom. Let strength be your quiet revolution. Let it come slowly. Let it rise from your breath, from your bones, from your willingness to say, I'm still here, I'm still capable. Because you are, always were, and still can be. So if you're listening to this, and something inside you says, I miss feeling strong, know that it's not too late to begin again. You can start this afternoon or tomorrow morning. A few slow movements, a kind word to your body, and trust that it will meet you there. Not perfectly, but faithfully. You are not defined by what you can't lift. You are defined by your decision to keep lifting gently what still matters to you. Habit 5. Continue being mentally active. Your mind, just like your body, thrives on movement. Not the kind you measure in steps, but the kind that sparks inside. When you read something meaningful, solve a little puzzle, or learn something new, the brain, even after 60, 70, or 80, still hungers for challenge. It doesn't need noise, it needs curiosity, it needs freshness, and above all, it needs to be used. Because just like the legs weaken when left idle, so too does the mind grow dull when it is left in silence too long. But the good news? It doesn't take much to awaken it again. A book can do it. A soft melody was learned on an old piano. A game of Sudoku before breakfast. A short journal entry written quietly before bed. These aren't just hobbies. They are medicine for the memory. They are protection for your clarity. They are daily rituals that remind your brain it still has work to do and joy to feel in doing it. The more you think, the more you stretch. The more you stretch, the longer you stay awake, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Frank, who walks every morning with his group of friends, doesn't just exercise his legs. He engages in conversation. They talk about books, memories, headlines, and old jokes. It's not formal, but it keeps him thinking, keeps him laughing, keeps him alive in more ways than one. And Linda, who thought she'd grow old alone, found herself painting again through online classes. But it wasn't the watercolor that healed her most. It was the mental spark of learning something new, the structure of showing up each week, the joy of sharing progress with others. That combination, movement, mental challenge, and social bond is what we often forget. It's not one habit that helps us age well. It's how they gently build on one another, and when they're combined, the effect is powerful. Mental decline isn't sudden, it's gradual. It happens when we stop asking questions, when we stop reading something that surprises us, when we go days without learning something new. But the brain is forgiving. It wants to come back. It wants to be used. The pathways of memory can be reawakened. New connections can still be built, even in later years. It doesn't have to be complicated. A new recipe, a documentary, a card, game, a prayer repeated mindfully. Even 10 minutes a day of focused thought can lift the fog. And when your mind feels sharper, your spirit follows. You make better decisions, you remember names, you react with grace. You carry yourself with more quiet confidence because you're present. You're not lost in confusion or forgetting what you meant to say. You are here, alive, in tune with the moment. And that, perhaps more than anything else, gives you back a kind of strength that others can feel around you. If you felt that your mind has slowed a little, don't be discouraged. That's not a verdict. It's an invitation to return to the things that used to challenge you, or to discover something new that sparks your attention. If this idea feels true to you, take a small moment now to comment below with the number 5, or share a mental activity you've rediscovered recently. You never know. Your words might inspire someone else to pick up that book, or play that song they forgot they loved. There's a quiet joy in being mentally active, not the pressure to achieve. No need to prove, just the private satisfaction of knowing your mind is still stretching, still working, still finding beauty in thought, even if no one else sees it. Even if it's just you alone in a room, absorbed in a page or lost in soft thinking, that is still life, still growing, still movement. Let it continue. Let your mind remain a place where light enters and settles. Let it be the space where your age isn't measured in years, but in insight and depth and wonder that never fades. Aging well isn't about perfection. It's about choosing day by day to care for yourself with quiet strength and intention. These 5 golden habits, eating real food, walking daily, staying connected, building strength, and keeping your mind active, aren't just routines. They are a way of living that helps you stay independent, sharp, and full of quiet confidence. You don't need to do everything at once. Start where you are. Take one small action today. Maybe that means adding a handful of walnuts to your breakfast. Maybe it's calling someone you've been thinking about. Or maybe it's stepping outside for a short walk. What matters most is that you choose not to give in to decline, but to engage with life fully, gently, and with purpose. If this video spoke to you, I invite you to share your experience in the comments below. What habit has helped you the most? What change are you ready to make now? Let this space become a circle of elder wisdom and support. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you care about. The journey of healthy aging is better when we walk it together.